So it's the morning after the night before, and it must be 12, 13 hours since the news broke on the WBO president's Twitter that the fight between Joseph Parker and Hughie Fury has been off. Now in this video I'm going to talk about two things. Number one, I'm going to talk about the early rumblings from Team Fury as to why this is off. Number two, I'm going to talk about Joseph Parker's next fight. Do understand that he is still going to fight on that day, May the 6th. Potentially his promoters and the team around him had already arranged a contingency option. I'm just speculating on that, but there's been several times in the lead up to this fight there's been debate as to is it on, is it off. There's been a lot of concern that this fight wouldn't happen, so not impossible that a contingency was already in place. So about 2 hours after the WBO president's tweet surfaced, I saw several articles online, several tweets online making reference to travel arrangements for the Furies to go out to New Zealand. Apparently, in winning the purse bids, the Juco Events, Parker's promoters, were obliged to provide 4 economy class tickets for Team Fury to travel to New Zealand. Apparently Team Fury were dissatisfied with this, and Juco offered to upgrade 2 of those tickets from economy class to some higher class. I don't know. So initially, about 2 hours after that tweet, that was being speculated by a lot of people online, that the Furies had pulled out of this fight because, of these travel arrangements, which would be absolutely bizarre. We know the Furies are a family with their own money, and given the amount of money Hughie Fury stood to earn from fighting Joseph Parker, logically, if it was that much of an issue, they could have probably paid to upgrade the tickets themselves. So that would have been very, very weak. I can't imagine too many boxing fans having massive sympathy for Hughie Fury if the issue was over the fact that only 2 of Team Fury's tickets would be business class on the flight over. This morning, it seems to have surfaced that the Furies are claiming an injury sustained by Hughie Fury. I saw an article, I think it was on Boxing Scene, where Parker's promoter reacted to that by saying that he didn't believe such an injury would be genuine. And, injuries potentially are often used as an excuse in boxing because injuries obviously do happen in the sport. It's a sport which involves punching another man as hard as you can. You get broken hands, you get cuts as a regularity. So an injury is often a way of excusing yourself from a fight and potentially avoiding some of the consequences that go along with not turning up to a fight. But this Hughie Fury injury situation, I'm not saying Hughie isn't injured. Frankly, I've got no idea, and I suspect none of us do unless you're in the Fury camp. But what I would say is people are likely to have far less sympathy for an injury, given some of the nonsense that seems to have surrounded this fight with, the Furies not signing the contract till the last minute, the Furies not travelling out there till the last minute, etc. It all seems very, very bizarre, and there's still this performance-enhancing drug situation in the background. People online are speculating Hughie Fury's actually been banned. People online are speculating that he didn't want to travel because the UCAD hearing is still ongoing and they may be able to block him from fighting. It's all very, very, very bizarre, and it leaves an extremely bad taste in the mouth, both for boxing fans who were just looking forward to it like myself, as well as people who bought tickets, organised travel, etc. to see a fight of this magnitude. It's very, very strange, and certainly await further updates with interest. But it appears that the line being taken at the minute, and there's articles on Boxing Scene, there's articles on World Boxing News, it appears that the line being taken is that there's an injury to Hughie Fury. So make of that what you will. I'm sure most people will have limited sympathy, and do you know what? Understandable. Let's talk about Parker's remaining options, because my understanding is he does still wish to fight on that date, and they will look to sort out a new opponent. Now, I saw Kevin Barry, whose son is involved in the training camp. I saw his son comment on Twitter that they've done a 10-week sparring camp for a very, very tall heavyweight. So they're not looking to bring in someone like a Jarrell Miller or a or an Andy Ruiz. You know, they're looking for someone who has that tall, rangy style, which, you know, Hughie Fury obviously brings to the table and is what they've prepared for. Now, I understand they may be given special dispensation due to how late doors the pullout is, but I understand the WBO will let them take a voluntary against someone from the top 15. So here is the top 15 at present. Obviously, Parker's the champion, Hughie Fury's number 1, Christian Hamer's number 2, Miller's number 3, Jarrell Miller that is, Andy Ruiz is number 4. So those guys are all shorter heavyweights, aren't they? Hamer, Miller, Ruiz. Kubrat Pulev 5, Dominic Brazil 6, Dillian White 7. We know it's not going to be Dillian White because he's got a fight booked in. Tom Swartz 8, Andre Rudenko 9, Luis Ortiz 10. Again, we know it's not going to be Luis Ortiz. He's just pulled out of a fight with an injury. Andre Fedosov 11, Agit Kabayel at 12, Kyotaro Fujimoto at 13, Razvan Kajanu, who I've actually never even heard of, at 14, and Zhilei Zhang at number 15. Now, I've had a tip-off from a source that I believe to be in the know, and this is purely speculative. I don't have any quote I can give you. I don't have any confirmation, but I've had a tip-off from you know, someone I respect, let's put it that way, telling me that the next opponent that that Parker's looking at is Andre Rudenko. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Rudenko, you know, in a sense, at least he's a known commodity. He's obviously said during with Lucas Brown. He said during with Hughie Fury, bizarrely. He's a bit one-paced, a bit of a plodder. He's very durable. He's someone I expect would take Parker the 12-round distance, but I think Parker would handle with consummate ease. You know, Parker should be able to box rings around a guy like Rudenko. He's very, very limited. And frankly, whilst we're on the subject, that WBO top 15 is fairly outrageous. You know, if I just pull it up again, Zhang, Kajanu, Fujimoto, Kabayel, Fedosov, Rudenko, Swartz. You know, these guys are nowhere near the top 30. None of them should be in any of the top 30s. Yet the WBO has all of them in the top 15. So that shows what a bizarre world these boxing rankings can be at times. But yeah, you know, out of those names, obviously a huge amount of them are very, very unrealistic as short notice opponents. I don't know about the whereabouts of a guy like Fedosov, you know, Fujimoto, Zhang. I don't know what those guys are currently up to. But I guess you're kind of going to have to take someone here who's almost coming in as an opponent as opposed to a world title challenger, even though in this instance it'll be one and the same thing, because someone who legit has aspirations of becoming a world champion and, you know, really thinks they're one of the top heavyweights in the world is unlikely to want to fly out to New Zealand on less than 2 weeks' notice. You know, we assume panic phone calls are being made today to organise this fight. So, you know, that person's going to be getting on a plane, tomorrow, the day after. They're going to have limited time to train. They're going to have very limited time to adjust to the, you know, to the time difference and get over the jet lag. So presumably it's going to be someone who, you know, has that opponent mentality. And to be honest, Andre Rudenko, for me, kind of fits the mould. He's a decent guy. He's probably in the top 50 in the world, but not much higher than that. And we've kind of seen him put on spirited performances as an opponent, but an opponent nonetheless, certainly against Hughie Fury. He showed some ambition when he was beaten against Lucas Brown, but, you know, you just wonder if he's the kind of guy who may be inclined to take a paycheck for this late fight. Commiserations go out to Joseph Parker, to his team, and commiserations go out to all the New Zealand fans, because a lot of them are very, very big Joseph Parker advocates. I know I've got a lot of New Zealand subscribers and always appreciate the support from you guys. And you know, it's absolutely, you know, it's very, very, very disappointing what has happened. And you know, my heart goes out to all the Parker fans and to the team. And, you know, even from a UK perspective, you guys know I'm a Team Fury fan. You guys know I was picking Hughie Fury in this fight. But, yeah, I'm gutted for you, and I'm gutted to have lost a fight of this nature, which I thought was, you know, something to really savour and something to look forward to. Leave your comments in the section below, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, would appreciate it if you take the time to hit the thumbs up button, which helps me out getting more visibility to this video and to the channel. And if you're new or you haven't done so before, do take the opportunity to subscribe so you can check out all of my other stuff, and I'll be sure to cover any further updates to this story as and when they break. And I assume updates will break because the Furies are going to have to make some sort of statement at some point, and it'll be very, very interesting to see what they come out with. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, guys.